Thanks, guys. Declan, we really appreciate you coming out on the show today and talking about your video that you made and just all that you've been experiencing here at IU. Thanks so much again for coming on.
No problem.
But to start out with, at what point did you decide enough is enough, I'm going to post this on social media?
Yeah, it kind of just came as like a rash decision. I was just thinking about our floor meeting that we were going to be having on Sunday night. I posted the video on Saturday, and I was just thinking about how long it took them to make that floor meeting, even after we had been discussing this since October. So I think that night I was just thinking about how long it had taken, and I decided, you know, I'm gonna take this to social media. I feel like a lot of other kids have been dealing with this. I actually spoke to one of my friends. They said I dealt with something really similar, nothing was done, and so I just felt like social media needed to do its thing.
Yeah, and your video details the harassment that you experienced in your dorm and on your floor, but if you could share just kind of what you felt in those moments and what you feel now looking back at what happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I kind of felt a little bit just unwelcomed. At first, I thought it was just some silly joke, you know, banging on the door, running away. I was like, haha, so funny. And then it happened every day for almost a month. And then it happened sporadically after that. And so I have pretty bad anxiety, so having someone bang at your door at 3 a.m. is kind of anxiety inducing. So I definitely just felt unwelcomed. I didn't know anyone on the floor. No one ever talked to me. I would, you know, offer things in the group chat, you know, and so just having no one reach out to me, no one want to talk to me, definitely just felt like I didn't have a community, especially on my floor.
And this started in August, and it went all the way through up to the start of this semester, correct?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So the first incident was actually the first night we were at school before classes started. It was move-in day, and yeah, there was an incident that happened, and so I kind of, like I said, thought it was a little bit of a joke, and then it kept happening. So about a month later, I reported it to my RA, and then things kind of started to be talked about, but we didn't have our floor meeting until January 15th.
And did your RA ever mention as to why, you know, that meeting didn't take place sooner, why this wasn't sooner addressed, or did the RA refer you to anybody like IU administration?
Oh yeah, so I talked to the director of my building, the graduate advisor of my building, and also the bias report office. I was told that we didn't have the meeting sooner because of lack of communication, is what they said, or miscommunication between the RA and the director of my building and the bias report office, which I think is honestly just unacceptable in terms of the length of how long it was going on and the seriousness of the situation.
For sure. And so, based on your video, have like the RA said anything since? What did they say to you at that meeting on Sunday?
They expressed a lot of support. My RA, the director, and the bias report office expressed a lot of support, but also I could tell there was a little bit of animosity based on the video. During our meeting, they mentioned how, you know, the news will be here tomorrow, and how do we feel about such a bad reputation on the floor, which honestly I felt was unnecessary to say because it kind of felt like it put a target on me with the other students being angry that now our floor has such a bad reputation. So I definitely feel a little bit of frustration towards that. For sure, I understand their frustration as far as, you know, the dealing with the situation and having this go so viral. However, if it was handled the correct way, I wouldn't have even had to post the video.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you want other trans students or other LGBTQ plus students at IU or just around the world to know?
I definitely want them to know that no matter if your university does not support you or doesn't express support, you have the support of hundreds of people online, including me, and whether or not we even know you, we support you, and your issues matter, and your life matters. You know, in October, I felt like my life didn't matter because of all of these issues, so I didn't want anyone else to feel that way, so I want everyone to know that their life matters, and no matter if anyone's hating on them, if anyone's, you know, harassing them, just know that their life matters just as much as mine does.
And since your video, has the hate gotten better? Have you not seen as many instances where you feel that you're being harassed in any sort? Have you felt more support from the IU community since posting the video?
Oh, absolutely. So not only the IU community and the community on TikTok, I received a lot of support from students on my floor. There was a majority of the students on my floor that had no idea this was even happening, besides things that were put in the group chat when I asked them to stop. And so I definitely received a lot of support. People have been coming and visiting me. I've made a couple friends because of this. And so I definitely feel like I have a better support system. So not only was I hoping with the video to express how I was feeling, but also hoping to gain a community and build a community, not only for myself, but for other queer students on campus. So, and the harassment has stopped as of right now. I haven't received anything else. And so I'm hoping that the floor meeting and especially the publicity that I got will hopefully deter students from wanting to, do any of these things, especially because at the meeting they talked about consequences and what would happen if they found out who it was.
Yeah, for sure. And your video's gotten a lot of views. Over 1 million views at this point. I haven't checked recently, but last time I checked, it was still pretty high. And even Dylan Mulvaney, a really popular transgender social media influencer, she commented on your video. She's done interviews with President Biden before on legislation for transgender policy. What does it mean to see her watch your video and comment on it?
It means the world to me. I've been watching Dylan's journey for so long, and she is such an inspiration to me because recently she's been getting a lot of hate online and by, Republicans in legislature just hating on her. And so the fact that she's still able to go and be herself and, like I said, meet with the president and just keep posting, and that really keeps me going, and she's a big inspiration for me. And so seeing her comment just made me realize, wow, like even people who don't know me and who have millions of followers still care about me. And so it just makes me realize that people are just so amazing, and the support on TikTok is just amazing. I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially not only, getting the publicity and, hopefully holding IU accountable, but also, having a good support system and hearing that I'm not alone in this. I've had a lot of people reach out and say, you're not alone, come over anytime. I got invited to have, broccoli cheddar soup on Saturday. So it's just interesting, and it's amazing.
For sure. And finally, what do you want to tell Indiana University?
I want to tell them that they need to really step it up. We as a university are one of the top schools for LGBTQ+ students. That's actually why I decided to come here. And so if you're going to claim to be inclusive and diverse, you need to be inclusive and diverse. A couple of my friends are RAs, and they skipped over the LGBTQ+ discrimination training. They just skipped over the slides, and that is unacceptable. No matter what they're skipping over any part of training, especially when it's about discrimination, is unacceptable. And so I definitely want them to think about this and think about what they can do. And I would love to meet with someone, especially higher up in the IU administration, and talk to them about how I've been feeling. Hopefully they'll see this and want to reach out to me, because I just love to be able to share my story and express to them how much, getting to talk to them would mean to me and getting to make some real change. And I really want students to feel safe.
Well, thank you so much, Declan, for coming in and sharing your story. We really appreciate it here. And we did reach out to the university, and this is what they did say in response: a statement from Vice Provost for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Dave O'Gwyn. We are deeply committed to maintaining an inclusive and safe campus for all students. Protecting students' privacy is always a top priority. So we cannot speak to specific student matters. However, we strive to respond to any report of bias and harassment with a robust process to address reported incidents and behaviors.